The Pittsburgh Steelers just got a really promising piece of free agency news, and I've been talking a lot on here from an impartial view, giving you Pittsburgh Steelers coverage on the daily, and kind of looking from the outsider's view in because I'm primarily a Bears guy, and love of Justin Fields brought me here, but dislike of Aaron Rodgers might actually keep me here. And as Pittsburgh Steelers fans, aren't you already sick of Aaron Rodgers holding your team hostage? I'm going to go to this. Taking his time, strolling on the beach with a contemplative expression on his face. Well, maybe this video isn't impartial, but Pro Football Talk's Mike Florio has another suggestion, and he actually believes that this will happen if Aaron Rodgers is not available. He believes that Jameis Winston is the next man up if Rodgers doesn't happen. Now, I talked yesterday about the possibility of Kirk Cousins if they really want to spend up. I truly think he'd be available for the right trade. But man, so much draft capital would have to be invested. You guys, why not Jameis Winston? Great leader in the locker room, takes a ton of chances, but he has just a rocket arm. And why not him to take advantage of the vertical talents of George Pickens and DK Metcalf? I mean, could you stomach 10 to 15 interceptions if he throws for 35 to 40 touchdowns? I mean, that's an actual really good question. That's for this video to answer. I mean, the biggest thing likely keeping Winston out of Pittsburgh, it's that he's a turnover machine, right? Tomlin likes having a quarterback that protects the football. But in 10 seasons, Winston has had 111 interceptions and 154 touchdowns. A lot of that was influenced during his Chuck the Rock days in Tampa. Not a great ratio. But here's the thing, though. With Jameis Winston, maybe an overly conservative offensive coordinator and head coach like Arthur Smith and Mike Tomlin, maybe that would make a fun quarterback like Jameis, maybe that would make him reeled in a little bit and just enough to make this mix successful. It might be a perfect mix. And at the very least, the guy could compete with Rudolph. He could handle the job at quarterback too while a younger guy is drafted. And that's kind of the next thought here. Jackson Dart from Ole Miss. He just had a really impressive combine. And let's hear this straight from Mike Florio. This is on the latest episode of Pro Football Talk with Chris Sims. Florio spoke about why he believes that Winston is a good fit in Pittsburgh. I'm just going to quote, "I know they're going to end up with who you think I know. I'm looking at him right now, Jameis Winston. If they don't sign Rodgers, they're going to go with Jameis Winston because he can at least get the ball down the field to DK Metcalf." He didn't mention Pickens, but that's inferred. And there's another voice advocating for Winston as well. Former NFL quarterback Sean King, he recently pitched the Steelers signing Jameis Winston to Mike Tomlin directly. I'm going to quote from him. "I actually texted Mike Tomlin yesterday, and this was recently on the Coach JB show with Big Smitty. I don't think he has me on block because it went through." That's funny. "But I gave him my dissertation for why I think Jameis Winston is the perfect fit for Pittsburgh. You need somebody that can push the ball downfield in the inclement weather. Remember the snow game this last year against you guys. He's proven last year that he still has the ability to do that. I just don't think Aaron Rodgers is mobile enough at this point in his career for what Pittsburgh wants to do. Pittsburgh wants to run the rock and do a lot of play action, get outside the pocket. That's not really Rodgers' game anymore. He's not physically able to do it." Now, let's not get things twisted either. When Winston took over the starting job in Cleveland last season following a season-ending injury to Deshaun Watson, absolute roller coaster. He leads to entirely mixed results. I get it. But he also set a Cleveland Browns record for passing yards in a single game with 497 as well as 4 touchdowns. But then you see bad Jameis. He also threw 3 interceptions in that game, 2 of which were pick sixes. He would be a little bit of a surprise for the Steelers. I mean, Russell Wilson has been named an option still throughout the offseason, but if this team really doesn't want Wilson this season, and I don't recommend doing the roller coaster circus of Aaron Rodgers, that's a completely different risk, or if he's not available at all, Wilson's visiting Cleveland and the Giants pretty much as we speak. So he left there yesterday. He left for there yesterday. But if they're left without Rodgers in 2025, they could look at Winston for at least competition with Rudolph, at the very least for the summer. Or you know what? Maybe just run it back with Mason Rudolph, draft a quarterback like Jackson Dart to come along slowly. But something needs to be done. You can't just sit and wait for the whims of Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if he's still on the beach or in a darkness retreat, whatever. This video totally isn't impartial. I'm sorry, I broke my word. But something needs to be done here, because waiting for Rodgers to do the right thing, waiting for Rodgers to be a team guy at this point in his life, you might be waiting for a really long time. You might be waiting a month, and then every other choice comes off the board, and you're left holding the bag as the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if he does come, the circus comes with him to Pittsburgh. I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers. Maybe the solution is not to pay huge draft capital for who am I talking about? Kirk Cousins. Not pay the huge price for him, not pay a quarterback $45 to $50 million a year to maybe give subpar performance. Maybe sign Jameis Winston on a bargain deal. Allow him to fight it out with a more conservative and really, like, not a high ceiling, but more dependable Mason Rudolph as far as having a level result. And then use the draft capital that you have to draft a guy like Jackson Dart. I really like that kid. And bring him along slowly, develop him the way you should. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, if they do that, they could very well learn a lot of lessons from the Green Bay Packers, because that's one thing that they do absolutely correctly, is how they develop quarterbacks. You guys, appreciate growing this channel with you. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, Justin Fields brought me here. Dislike of Aaron Rodgers very well might keep it here. I also have a Chicago Bears channel. Check it out. And I will talk to you guys soon. We'll chop it up in the comments. See ya.